'Tis the Christmas season, and few games capture the warmth, chaos, and rhythm of the season better than Insomniac's Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Hey, Jonah! Looking good! Very festive!
Menace! A feckless, treacherous, unhinged menace!
Welcome to Blind Retrospectives, the series where I revisit PS4 and PS5 games I missed during their release to see how they hold up today. These games are usually in their final state with all the bug fixes and add-ons that weren't available at launch. We dive into what makes these entries special and the impact they left on gaming culture. But before I begin, I do realize that if I want to tackle certain series, I need to start from the first game in the series. For example, the Insomniac Spider-Man series. I should have started from Spider-Man PS4, which I just recently acquired the remastered version for PS5, so it would make sense to start from that version, but I just look at it and it's not downloaded yet. So that's why we are starting from Miles. But in the future, I will try to start from the first game of the selected series so that we have a comprehensive playlist, but no promises. But with that said, let's dive in. Insomniac Spider-Man Miles Morales is a launch title for the PS5. It does have a PS4 version, but we are using the PS5 version for this video. For full transparency, I've technically played this game before. Back when I was broke during the PS4 era, my cousin had it and I got a taste of it on his console. So yeah, not entirely blind, but I digress. Picking up this game on the PS5 after all these years honestly feels like a whole new experience. Initially, I wasn't too excited because technically I had played this game before, so I decided to just get into it and swing around for a while, just to get a feel of the game. And then that's when it finally hit me. You see, I don't mean to be that guy pixel peeping and whatnot, but I think this game is best played on the PS5. The game has different graphic modes, but I chose to play this game on fidelity mode because I don't care for the extra FPS, even though I have begun to notice the beauty of playing games on 60 FPS on the PS5, but it wasn't something I used to check out before. But I do appreciate good graphics, and I wanted to see this ray tracing that gamers have been talking about, so I went with the fidelity mode. And this being my first PS5 experience, it was honestly amazing. You might ask, what's the difference between the PS4 and the PS5 version? It's not something that you'll be able to see visibly in the YouTube video because of compression, but with a good monitor or TV, trust me, you will see the difference 100%. Like I said, initially I wasn't pixel peeping, I was just glad to be playing the game at all, but in certain scenes, looking at the material textures of Miles' suit, the reflections and the deeper textures on the suit, that reflected in certain lighting environments. The lighting and ambience of the scene overall look stunning. The character models looked expressive. The details of Finn's afro, the expressions of Rio Morales' face, these little things all made this version the best one to play. When I started getting into it, I began to notice all these little details which really elevated the experience for me. And while I have a lot of PS4 games on my console, I noticed that when playing PS5 games, whether natively or upgraded, the PS5 version feels way sharper and clearer than the PS4 versions. That goes without saying, of course, different console generations and all, but I just wanted to put that out there. And this might be a minor thing, but the haptics and the adaptive triggers are present in this game. I honestly love it when I boot up a PS5 games and I see that DualSense haptic support, especially the ones that actually use those features. So for the uninitiated, the adaptive triggers here is like a force or resistance that prevents you from pulling the triggers all the way down. You can still do it, but that's where you have to add extra pressure to achieve that. So in this case, when you are swinging, you can feel that resistance from the adaptive triggers. I don't know, but it felt like the resistance point changed dynamically the faster you swing, or at least it felt that way. It was like the faster I got, the pressure point on the trigger seems to feel slightly different, almost shorter. This is not a confirmed mechanic, at least from what I know, but it made me feel like the controller was trying to let you know how fast you're going and when to let go. It was a nice immersive trick and it kind of makes you feel like Spider-Man, but like I said, it's not confirmed, so don't take my word for it. Moving on. The game plays the same as the previous Spider-Man game, but in overall scope, Miles Morales seems more like a premium standalone expansion rather than a full-fledged sequel. The familiar DNA of Insomniac Spider-Man games is all here, but playing Miles is a truly different experience. Where Peter relies on a massive gadget arsenal, Miles' unique moveset is defined by his bioelectric venom attacks and his ability to utilize temporary invisibility or camouflage. These aren't just cosmetic changes, they introduce a flashier, more aggressive combat style and offer a complete game changer for stealth. We have a set of unlockable costumes here as well, but I don't know, I didn't vibe with them all that much. Yes, certain costumes have different perks, but I found myself rotating between these 3 costumes. The others didn't really stand out to me, or they weren't really my style. Because when it comes to games like these, I really do like trying out all the costumes. My cousin calls me a fashionista because of how I'm so into cosmetics and skins in video games. So I was kind of disappointed when I saw the array of suits you could unlock for Miles, because I wasn't really excited to unlock the rest after unlocking these 3. Miles' suit system revolves around 2 slots, suit mods and visor mods, and you eventually unlock 2 slots for each. When you unlock a new suit, it doesn't come with a logged-in power. Instead, it unlocks either a new suit mod or a visor mod. Once that mod is unlocked, it's yours to use on any suit in the game. That means you can swing around in the cool Bodega Cat suit whilst running the Stronger Webs mod and Untraceable Visor mod. Also, the skill progression of this game is not so hard to understand once you get into it. I assume it's the same for the previous game. You level up, get a point, and you spend it. But what's crucial here is the structure of the skill tree. Miles' tree is organized entirely around his unique abilities. You'll find 3 main branches: combat, camouflage, and the venom tree. This structure immediately encourages you to invest in those electronic crowd controlling powers, making it clear from the start that Miles is going to play much differently than his mentor. For my playthrough initially, I mostly invested in the Venom Tree mod for the suit mods. I invested in the Eyes on Target visor mod and the Optic Triangulation visor mod because those really help with stealth-based gameplay. Speaking of stealth, there are many encounters where they drop you in that definitely requires you to use stealth because of the number of enemies. Yeah, you could go all out and take them down normally, which is harder due to the number of enemies you'll be facing, but I do enjoy slowly taking them down one by one. I assume the gameplay is more or less the same as the previous game. You will solve some puzzles, take down some bad guys, and engage in some quick time events. So what's it about this game that makes it so special? Well, there's a story. The events of Miles Morales kicks off in a cold, snowy New York, specifically around Christmas Eve, which places the game about a year after the dramatic conclusion of Peter Parker's original adventure. That year has been crucial for Miles because, as we see from the start, he's gone from a rookie still learning the ropes to a fully operational, if still slightly inexperienced, Spider-Man. So it begins with Peter leaving for a trip with MJ and he's reluctantly going with her as a photographer. This conveniently leaves Miles as the sole Spider-Man for a few weeks, which is exactly the breathing room the narrative needs to let Miles step into the spotlight. So he gifts Miles with a present, his own makeshift suit, and swings off. Let me say this right off the bat, I hated Miles' first homemade suit, the Great Responsibility suit. It's god-awful and looks ugly as hell. No wonder the villains were calling him Spider-Man Jr. So, stepping into his role as New York's sole protector, Miles finds himself caught between 2 major forces battling for control of Harlem: the corporate giant Roxxon Energy Corporation and the high-tech criminal army known as the Underground. Roxxon is the face of corrupt, unchecked power in the game, led by the charismatic but ruthless CEO Simon Krieger. They are developing a volatile new energy source called New Form, which they claim will power the future, but as Miles, we quickly learn that it's dangerous and unstable. Roxxon's soldiers are an elite, well-equipped private security force. In combat, they represent an armored technological threat, deploying sophisticated shields, energy weapons, and advanced countermeasures that are immune to Miles' standard weapon. The thematic threat of Roxxon is classic Spider-Man, the powerful corporation willing to sacrifice safety of the public, specifically Miles' home, Harlem, for profit. The second major faction is the Underground, a mysterious high-tech gang terrorizing the city. They are led by the enigmatic figure known as the Tinkerer. Unlike Roxxon's polished corporate look, the Underground uses programmable matter to create glowing futuristic melee and range weaponry. They are fast, aggressive, and highly resistant to normal attacks, often requiring us to use our venom powers to disrupt their tech and break their defense. Crucially, the Underground is framed as a reaction to Roxxon's corruption. Their goal, while violent and destructive, is rooted in a personal vengeance against Krieger and an attempt to expose the dangers of new form. You see, the core conflict is not so simple. Miles's entire journey is about navigating the moral gray area. He's fighting the Underground, but he soon realizes their leader, the Tinkerer, is connected to his personal life and has a legitimate, if extreme, reasons for targeting Roxxon. Ultimately, the plot isn't a simple case of good versus evil. It's a conflict between corporate corruption on one side and Avengers-fueled anarchy on the other, with Miles caught in the middle trying to protect Harlem from both. I'm deeply fighting the urge to say Harlem is a character on his own in this game, but what I would say is I absolutely love the community-first aspect of the story, and it's what separates Miles from Peter. You get to interact with so many named neighbors and local heroes, both as Miles the person and as Spider-Man, which gives you this powerful sense of belonging. This is mostly because of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app, where the people of Harlem submit requests directly to their Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Completing these requests isn't just busy work, it's how you earn crucial activity tokens to unlock new suits and mods. Plus, the constant calls from his mom, Genki, and other locals just checking up on him whilst he's swinging creates this incredible feeling of being supported and rooted in his community. I haven't played Peter's story, so maybe it's something that already exists, but that feeling of home and community, especially around the holidays, just elevates the experience for me. And speaking of elevated experiences, let's talk about the music. You see, the game has this mantra, be yourself.
Gotta be me. Yeah, you do.
And you can clearly see it in the way Miles interacts with the people, the way he swings, and yes, the music he enjoys. Composer John Pisano took the traditional orchestra superhero score and masterfully blended it with hip-hop and R&B beats. When you're swinging, the music pulses with this incredible rhythm that feels energetic, youthful, and perfectly aligned with Miles' personality. And I kinda dig it. We all know Miles has a great taste in music. With his most recent iterations, I would honestly be shocked if the soundtrack wasn't this good. Overall, this makes his character seem much cooler and gives the whole experience a unique flair that the previous game simply didn't have. In the end, Miles Morales is short, sweet, and perfectly digestible for the holiday gaming season. You can easily have fun and fully engage with the story without feeling like you have to sacrifice all your time with actual loved ones for this holiday season. I love that I could just play a mission or two after work and still feel like I'm making massive progress. That's a win-win in my book. The length is definitely still an issue though. You see, I never intended to binge this game. I was playing just a few missions every night after work. So you can imagine my shock when I looked at the menu and saw 50% completed already. It's brief, I won't lie, but I think that brevity is the game's greatest strength. It's primarily one of the few reasons I even decided to cover this game next. It avoids the typical open world fatigue, it's concise, it's memorable, and while it's definitely left me wanting more of Miles and his story, I appreciate that it ended on a high note. It never stayed long enough to feel repetitive or boring, and it's delivered an emotional, resonant story that left me completely satisfied, while still craving whatever comes next. So, there we have it guys, Spider-Man Miles Morales. It kind of disappears within the whole landscape of things because of Spider-Man 2 and how big that game was. But let me know your thoughts about this game now in the comments. Have you played it? Did you like it? Did you find it too short like me? Let's have that discussion down in the comments. This is truly a backlog classic. I'm glad it was in my backlog and I'm glad to have finally played it. And I will probably play it again just for the fun of it. If you enjoyed this blind retrospective, drop a like and tell me what game I should revisit next. If you are new here, this is the blind retrospective series. I'm currently on a journey to clear out all the backlog of games I had missed during the PS4 era and the current PS5 era, so it will be awesome if you would stick with me along that journey. And until next time, keep moving forward.
Slow season.
Don't care.
Surprise!
It's that spider kick! Get it! Let's see how you fight, kid!
Spider-Man 1, Robbers 0.